Hello again and welcome to another Beyond All Reason video. Today we're looking at a 1v1. This time we've got Masterbel versus Raghna. Now after Masterbel had a pretty unlucky game in the last one that we watched, the 3v3, let's see how well he does in this 1v1. Now for those of you that don't know, Raghna is a very high tiered player when it comes to 1v1s, so Masterbel is at the disadvantage here, but let's see how we go. Now on this map, wind, fairly decent. At the moment is 9, up to a maximum of 19 at a lowest of 1. Both players around the same mark right now. We see Raghna purely going winds here, whereas Masterbel has decided to go for a solar. Now the difference between that is that obviously a solar itself requires a substantial amount more metal than solars do. Does look like Masterbel will be the first to get the factory up, as Raghna has not started queuing a factory yet. Wind is also currently at the low side, which is why Raghna has now switched to building a single solar. And fortunately for Masterbel, as soon as he's started building wind, the wind has gone back up. But then goes straight back down again. He's currently building an engineer, which is obviously going to sap more power from him than he was probably planning. And Raghna here almost finishing his factory. Now Raghna does have quite a bit of reclaim in this area. If we zoom out a bit, press E and drag, you'll see that just in his starting area there's about 7,000 worth of energy. Not much in the way of metal, but still. And it should be the same here for Masterbel at the bottom, because the map is mirrored on the diagonal. Now the difference here, we see both players playing core, so we're not expecting any early tick harassments here, because obviously they're both core. And both have done the same thing of building a grunt to cover from raids, and then building an engineer. So far, they're basically the exact same moves here. The only difference is that Masterbel went energy first with the solar, and Raghna went wind. Now, one difference we are seeing here is that Raghna is deciding to build a resbot. We quickly see here a resbot is a bit cheaper than going for a full engineer, but it does mean that he can have that resbot. As we zoom back over to Raghna, just reclaiming everything in the area, kind of supplementing his energy needs. Now also we see here that Masterbel is the first person to leave the base with any form of units, with these two engineers here expanding down to this forward position down here at the bottom. And Masterbel now pumping out military units. Now we're already kind of seeing a bit of a difference in playstyle here, as Raghna has, I would say, substantially more military units than Masterbel at this point. Masterbel with 3 in the middle, 2 in the base, 1 there, whereas Raghna has 2 either side with this res spot as well, 2 in base and another 1 further back. So still very close in unit numbers, although losing 1 grunt there. We'll see if these two get anything, which it doesn't look likely at the moment. He's just kind of using these for scouting purposes to a degree, because if you remember, core does not have any Tech 1 scouts in the bot lab. They have them instead in the vehicle lab. Also seeing here the resbots coming out from Raghna to the south side. Now this is a key difference here. We're seeing Raghna expanding to the south and to the east with his resbots in order to get the reclaim that's in the corners, whereas Masterbel has instead decided to expand with engineers and get metal point. We'll see if this is going to make a substantial difference, but as we see here, there is 180 metal. And if we just going on about the metal side of things, that is the equivalent of an engineer, or we're talking, you know, several grunts. So that can make a difference. And we see a first fight maybe here between units, as Masterbel should be able to clear that up without too much problem. At the same time, he is losing an engineer that he used to expand. Why he didn't finish that off there, I don't know. Losing the engineer here, expanding. Not looking too good for Masterbel, as he sends in a single grunt there and lets that one walk past rather than tidying it up. Loses... Oh no, keeps that metal extractor. That's good. Now he's using this red spot here to reclaim the metal extractor, which is quite useful. Unfortunately, sending more grunts into the middle here and just losing them to Raghna's comm. He does get a res spot at the south though, which is quite good. Now we see Raghna starting to expand as well with his engineers. We see they're building some mexes here and at the top here as well. Top middle. Masterbel sending a group of 4 grunts to the area that Raghna is expanded upon in the middle. However, he does see these units moving in. At the same time, we see a substantial force here pushing in from Raghna. That does get stopped by a single laser tower. But he's now changed his mind and he's going in. No. He sees their assistant grunt units there and pulls back. Masterbel does get the metal extractor at the top. However, he is not paying attention right now, and he's going to lose the 4 grunts at the top. Now he's paid attention and started moving them. Raghna taking great control of this bottom quarter here with a substantial chunk of grunts. So we see 8 there, and Masterbel is just going to walk it, the one he has, right into this line. He does see them on radar, so he knows they're there. Now, what we're seeing here is Masterbel keeps losing his grunts in like single batches or like batches of 2 and 3. And unfortunately for him, Raghna is not doing the same. Raghna is keeping his in substantial groups, still splitting them up somewhat, but is not losing them as much. And as we see here again, this middle force pushes in. Probably going to get the 2 engineers here. He's only got 2 grunts for defense. And those 2 engineers die again in the middle. So far Masterbel has lost somewhere in the region of at least 3 engineers as Raghna goes into the base of Masterbel. That force does get dealt with. So a substantial amount of grunts lost there from Raghna. However, saying that, he is still a bit on the back foot here. Masterbel has been pushed back into his base. He has lost a lot of his expansion mexes. He actually only has 1 of his outside of his base mexes right now, plus the one he's literally just built. And we see some more units getting damaged here. Another one dead. We quickly check the stats here. We can see that Masterbel has lost 44 units as opposed to the 35 lost by Raghna. There were almost 10 units difference here. And when that comes to grunts, that's you know, quite a big difference. An extra 10 grunts can make as we see the line of units here forming up. And we see that Raghna has 19 here to Masterbel's 18. Surprisingly, not as big a difference as we would think. It wouldn't surprise me if we're going to start seeing some Rocketeers or something like that coming out soon. To kind of deal with some of these laser tower defenses. We see some 2 sets of laser towers going on up this triple mech spot here. Meanwhile, Raghna's commander is in the opposite side, building a massive wall of laser towers. We see Masterbel here expanding, getting some res bots on the go to resurrect the grunts that are dead within his territory, which is a good idea considering he's at a bit of a unit deficit right now. As long as he doesn't just throw away the units that he's reviving, which he's currently using them to scout this lower side and loses all of them, unfortunately. Yeah. Masterbel building a forward bot lab here, which is interesting to see if that will come from anything. Masterbel moving a substantial chunk of his forces to deal with this triple mech spot, but because of that, he is leaving himself a bit exposed here, as we see a push of a small group of grunts coming in the bottom here, reinforced by this massive stack of 26 grunts. I don't think Masterbel has the units to deal with this. He's also just let these 3 grunts go into his base to defend that laser tower instead, which now he reacts. Whilst falling back and losing that, he lost a massive stack of wind there. Selecting all of the grunts he has on the map and pulling them back to his base. So now clearing that up. But those 3 grunts on their own killed a massive chunk of wind and a metal extractor right in the middle of Masterbel's base. Masterbel's waypoint here also sat behind the enemy line. He needs to adjust that, otherwise he's just going to lose them all. Have a good bit of cleanup here on the top from Masterbel. He's going to be able to secure these engineers as well. So we see this line of grunts come in. Don't know what he plans on doing with this factory in the middle, as it is not producing anything yet. And now we see it starting to produce units. Interestingly enough, we see a bunch of anti-air vehicles bots here. Must be expecting some form of air. And Raghna now moving to Tech 2. He has a ridiculous amount of engineers there building, and that Tech 2 is going to get done very quickly. As we zoom out here, this is a massive chunk with 53 grunts there that are just Raghna's, as opposed to Masterbel's, which is nowhere near the same amount. We see all the commentating, spectating chat here. There is a lot of wrecks on the field still. I feel like Masterbel could probably do with that a little bit. But saying that, he is fine-ish on metal right now. He is not completely drained. His energy is his issue, which, you know, would be the case because he lost a sheer volume of wind. And now we just see a bit of a waiting time. Raghna's quite happy with the position he holds on the map here. It is somewhat split down the middle, but with Raghna, I was saying, being in more of a stronger position here. And we also see Raghna building some Tech 1 energy converters here, just to give him a bit more. Now, interestingly, what we see here is Raghna building a combat engineer, the Twitcher, and then reclaiming the factory to get additional metal. We see he built a Twitcher, built 1 T2 constructor, and then he is actually building T2 units, the Fiends here, from the combat engineer, and using the engineers here to assist him to get it out. That means he gets a vast volume of metal back from the factory, while still having the Tech 2 engineer and the Tech 2 units. And we see the first set of Rocketeers out. Little does Masterbel know right now that Raghna is on Tech 2. We're seeing a vehicle factory coming out here from Masterbel. Quite common for people to transition to vehicles from bots in a 1v1. And we see the Rocketeers here doing their job, killing stuff at range. I don't think Raghna really cares too much here. with the Tech 2 on the field that he's got coming. A couple of these Sheldons here are going to be able to keep stuff at range, and he'll be able to just start whittling down Masterbel. Masterbel still yet to get to any form of Tech 2. And interestingly enough here, we see Masterbel has reclaimed the factory in his base, gone all in on this factory in the middle here, which is interesting because if he loses this factory in the middle, which is what's starting to be bombarded by the Sheldons, then he is not in a good position. We see these construction turrets reclaiming the factory here in order for him to build Tech 2 in base. As soon as he saw Tech 2 detected, he knows he needs to go to Tech 2. And we see the first group of fiends coming around the side there. We want to zoom out here because of the sheer distance where Masterbel is getting attacked from like every side. We see the tank starting to push through the middle here. Masterbel knows he kind of needs to make more of a play here to go all or nothing. Pushes everything in. All of his grunts across the entire map. He knows he's not going to get Tech 2 up in time. At the same time, we see all the fiends pushing in here to Masterbel's base. He has nothing to do to stop that. Masterbel needs to do something here. The Tech 2 coming in, which quite counters the sheer mass of grunts. None of those grunts make it through. And with that point, Masterbel knows it's game over and resigns. So well played to both players there. Was quite a close game at the beginning. A bit to and fro. Unfortunately, Masterbel got raided a couple of times, as he did in the 3v3. He lost his expansion, and Raghna was able to keep all of his. And because of that, he was just able to snowball. Also, the large amount of energy that Masterbel lost to those single free grunts that went into his base put him behind quite a bit on energy production there. But thank you all for watching, guys. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.